Hi, good morning. My name is Laura Ossai. Um, I'm an administrative expert. I have work experience over 10 years where I've worked as corporate services manager, have done several works as an office administrator, have handled large teams in the past, and I've worked where I've handled very large customer clientele in leading banks such as EcoBank, Zenith Bank, and my recent work, I left from Hilson Nigeria Limited. I left as a corporate services manager where I had to handle and revamp the whole organization when I came, and it's looking like that is what is needed in this youngster foundation, which I think I might, or I'm very much eligible. They are more in line with what I can do. This is the first interview written screening assignment which I have taken my time to construct within the past 2 days, which the deadline is supposed to be today. I should have actually submitted yesterday, but I was waiting to do the video. So the part of the submission includes this video, which I have to record, that includes my responses. So the first is, the question says, why is an administrator important to an organization like Youngsters? For an administrator, no office can function without an administrator. An administrator is like the backbone of every organization. Without an administrator, the office cannot function very well, because invariably the administrator is the person who handles the operational and administrative um, department of every organization. Sometimes it is thought that the role of an administrator is not important in the company and neglects the present, but it's usually wrong, because without an administrator, the company cannot function. So, because that administrator, the office administrator, is the person who makes sure that the day-to-day running of the office is well executed, operationally wise and administrative wise. Operationally wise in the sense that the administrator is that person who ensures that everybody works in line with policies, guidelines, SOPs, and monitors the staff to ensure that everybody works well, monitors the money, the financial aspect of the organization, budgeting, planning, financial control, audit, HR where applicable, and then also ensure that administrative wise, ensure that all staff have their necessary work tools to enable them to be able to work adequately. So, the pivotal summary key roles of a young staff administrator includes that the young staff administrator should be somebody who understands the general concept of administration, ability to enhance the office staff ability to manage, organize, an office effectively well, must be able to modernize and develop operating manuals, policies for organizational growth, must possess a proper filing capability of high standards electronically and manually for easy storage and retrieval, develop an appropriate office management strategy, and also develop an appropriate asset management strategy. Also, most of the things that the administrator will be expected to do is also to work closely with the CEO in fundraising ventures and to achieve growth targets of the organization in terms of development and expansion plans, and to also set departments at high level goals, objective plans, and work with them to attain such goals. Also, this administrator will be doubling as the operating officer and shall be responsible for providing high level organizational wide leadership skills. Reporting to the ED, the admin, and the operating officer will also provide strategic leadership over the operational and administrative functions. The next question is, the what skills necessary for an effective and efficient administrator? Such a person like myself should have great organizational skills, because of course if you're not organized, you can't handle various departments at different across board. You have to have organizational skills to be able to prioritize what you're supposed to do, ability to work as a team, coordinate teams to be efficient, effective, and extremely productive, mentor them, training skills, and all of that. Ability to work independently, to work with little or no supervision. Must also have great communication skills, because you need to have great communication skills to be able to mentor people, to be able to tell people, impact on the staff, let them know what is expected of them to do, guide them, and to get out their productivity. And also there will be a lot of communication with related, especially when it comes to the fundraising aspect. There should be that skill set, that communication skills to be able to relate to government, to grant donors, to wealthy, prominent wealthy individuals. So I have to have the person has to have these great communication skills. Also, this person should have innovative skills, because you have to think, also be able to, like a manager, think outside of the box. You can't just be working like a robot. You have to come in to be able to add value to the organization, and have a business strategic focus skills, business development skills, business financial skills, and technical, human, and conceptualizational skills. From there's an Harvard three skills approach, which I actually learned from my MBA in the United Kingdom. We have what we call the technical skill, the human skill, and the conceptual skill. Every administrator would have these skills ready. The technical skill implies the understanding of the proficiency of a specific kind of work mode. It involves processes, procedures, and techniques of how an organization should run. Then you also need human skills to be able to execute this. Working ability to be able to work effectively as a group member, and to build cooperative effort among teams to be able to bring out the productivity of teams. And then also you also need to have the conceptual skill, which involves the ability to see the enterprise as a whole. It includes recognizing how the various functions of the organization depend on one another. That's like an hypothetical syllogism, where you know that every input of one department to another department leads to the general productivity of an organization. The next question is, what are the key factors that hinder an admin from performing effectively? Of course, if you're an administrator and you lack organizational skills, that's a number one minus, because you have to come in with clear goals, you have to have a work plan, you have to be able to plan, you have to have, if you lack business and operational plans, is a minus. If you come into an organization and you don't have clear goals, you don't have a vision, you don't have a mission, you don't have a plan, you don't have realistic expectations, you will not perform well as an administrator. Then if you lack commitment and dedication, and then you're somebody who easily gives up, because if you give up as a team leader, what would the rest be? So you have to, and then you also need to know how to collaborate. Collaboration is very, very key. If you lack teamwork, it's a major no. You cannot achieve anything as an administrator. So we need to, the administrator must have all these must have all the necessary skills to be able to carry out his or her duties. Then the next question says, have you managed staff that are inefficient and unwilling to make changes before? Of course, yes. I've worked as corporate services manager in various organizations, and I've had to handle like very large teams. I've had to work with diverse individuals from different cultural perspective. Even when I did my MBA and I had to work after my MBA in that was in abroad, I worked with various people from different countries, and of course, people have different cultural beliefs and all that. But one thing that is certain is, for every organization, I know we have like some set code of conduct. We also have like work guidelines. We'll have like SOP, standard operational procedures, where every staff, irrespective of your cultural diversity, must adhere to these office directives, these work ethics. So everybody must work in line according to how the organization wants them to work. And of course, that is why SOPs are also there, so that people don't just work according to, oh, I've worked somewhere, then when I come to this organization, we should work like this. No, we have to work strictly adhering to the organizational standard operating procedures. That is what the administrator will come in place to ensure this, because people cannot be working haphazardly, because my output is everybody's total input. So if I ensure that everybody works within set guidelines, within the code of conduct of the organization, adheres to the policies and regulations required in the organization, and also people with their various job role functions will work in line with their job descriptions and their SOPs, standard operational procedures, of course, will achieve more productivity. So if I'm faced with staff who, after all of this, because of course when I come in, there will be a lot of I will have to ensure that staff manuals are given to all staff. There will be retraining of staff. There might be a total revamp. Perhaps if we have like some old staff who are not doing well, either we reassess them, we reappraise them, and then maybe move them to other departments where we think we'll work on their strengths and weaknesses, and be able to ascertain where, if they've not been performing well because their strengths are lower than expectation, we can work on where they can do better and place them in other departments, and then perhaps still mentor them, retrain them, and keep training. Training is endless in an organization. Keep training to ensure that staff get to the point where they are supposed to be effective. But if all said and done, staff are still unwilling to accept change, then perhaps we might now need to start giving warning letters, sack letters. Then, of course, part of the, things that should also make staff to get motivated, we can create some certain incentives. We can come up with employee of the week, of the month. We can come up with maybe salary upgrade, appraisal, like, okay, if you do very well in the next 6 months, 1 year, you can get promoted and all of that. That can also potentially make staff, increase staff's productivity. So these are certain ways that can help the staff to be able to grow in the organization and to be more effective in a team, and also be willing to accept change. Then, of course, training, like I said earlier, is endless. Training is, we call it KSS, knowledge knowing process. We have to keep teaching the staff, letting them know, making staff understand the vision and the mission and of the work of this organization, of this NGO. Let them accept it as their own. Where staff gets to the point where they start looking at, oh, this organization could have been mine. Then the work and the vision, oh, these are youth empowerment program. Oh, if these youths were my brothers or my sisters, would I not be nice to them? Would I not be empathetic to them? So everybody now puts in a lot of efforts to ensure that this works out. Then, of course, I'll also introduce disciplinary actions where this has actually helped in the past to be able to curtail staff excesses and people behave better in the long run. Then goal plan for my next 6 months towards driving and rebuilding the organization. For the next 6 months, I'll come up with a corporate financial strategy, because if the organization is saying that they were hit by a recent paucity of funds, that must have been because the management before must have had like a bad financial downtime. They must have had like an improper financial management. So all of this needs to be reassessed. My initial setup goal would be to get audits to come and audit the accounting system, audit the financial system, what has happened in the past, so that there won't be a repeat recurrent. And then we'll now do like a total corporate office revamp. Total corporate office revamp, I mean, like we can look at the people we have on board. If they are not okay, we can get new ones, get the right fit, get the right skill set fit people who can come in, who are well educated, well skilled for certain roles that can impact productively and positively to the organization. Like right now, if we're looking at try to rebuild and drive the organization, one of the first thing is to start raising funds. So we'll be needing business development executives, we'll be needing like volunteers, we'll be needing people who are social media influencers, brand communication activists. So all of this, if we have the right skill set in place, just a little team for start off, I can work closely with them. We can come up with large contacts. We can come up with how we can start writing grants and proposals to attract great grants donors from United Nations like UNICEF, attract the state government, because like right now recently the Ebonyi state government has even given out like 3 billion. We are looking at a target of 100 million. This can even actually be superseded. If Ebonyi state can give 3 billion, I mean, what are we talking about? So it's just for us to get the right persons, the right government, the right grant benefactors to be able to trust in the work of this foundation. So we need to reassess this work. We need to, if there are things that we're not really doing that is not well exhaustive in terms of what this foundation stands for, we can come up with more things. I've added it in my suggestion. More things could include like can we add helping the orphanage? Can we add helping those that are sick? Can we help going to the youth rehabilitational centers, get out all those crime associates, minor crime associates, train them, mentor them, look for how we can empower them, get out all these destitute on the streets that are begging on the roads, get them into skills acquisition, come up with programs. There are a lot of skills acquisition. There are carpentry, there are electrical works, plumbing, like a lot of all of these things. We can empower these youths to make them better leaders of tomorrow. So these are some of the things I'm going to be looking at. Then, of course, we have to be looking at organizational cost analysis. This is very essential because we need to get to a point where we have to start looking at increasing cash flow and reducing expenditure. Expenditure would be that we have to look at how to reduce operational costs, look at how to reduce greatly overhead costs, then look for how we can get in more cash flow into the organization. Then when this cash flow starts coming in, we will need to have a very good financial management system where we are very strict on what we spend on. We need to start doing budgeting. We need to budget and identify important needs, prioritize needs that are crucial and crucial to the company, to the organization. These things that are direct programs to the, especially in line with the goals of the work and vision of what we claim to be, because we cannot be collecting grants and money to empower the youth, and then we're suddenly using the money to, get like helicopters and get like all the staff starts traveling to the US on vacation and all of that, and then leave out the works that we are supposed to be doing. So we need to prioritize. Some of these grants monies come, we need to have like auditors in place, we need to have like compliance officers or the administrator. If sometimes the administrator can also be the compliance officer, to ensure that these monies that come in are properly channeled to what they are for, then while still be able to still bring out little money to also support the operational cost expenses minimally though. And then of course reduce overhead costs, only get the right skill set staff. Any staff that is really not doing anything much, that is not productive to the company, should be let go. And then if we have like some versatile staff that can double up in certain functions, we can take advantage of that to save overhead costs. So these are some of the things that I'll be coming in to do. So this is called straight financial budget, financial management and audit. Then there should also be account transparency to grant investors, because I mean the benefactors will also want to know that whatever they are putting in their monies into is going to be what we claim. So transparency is very key. We need to have like where on our website at some point we should have like where we could tell the benefactors, oh yes, we actually got for example, we got the 3 billion for the youth environment. Okay, now this is XYZ, this is what we've done. Okay, we've channeled 1 billion to empower certain youth in XYZ zones. We've channeled 500 million to help those, the orphanage in the hospital, all the orphanages in Abuja. The other 500 is probably going to go to maybe those in the rehabilitation. Or we should have like a set statement, like whatever we're doing should be transparent, and they should be well organized and well planned. So these are some of the things I have actually written in my first interview written interview script. Then also I'll have to help the executive director pursue an ambitious target of generating 100 million. I will need to set smart goals. Smart goals include specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. Need to set time goal, which is part of it is like this time plan that has been asked for the next 6 months, because I need to have a plan to be able to project, to ensure that I execute them from start to finish. It's like program management. So then there will also be network mapping, where I'll have to work closely with the business development team to identify a list of strong contacts that can trust in the work, in the NGO vision and mission work, and then ask other volunteers and staff perhaps to do the same. Then find advocates. To grow this network, we need to identify advocates to help to raise awareness of this organization's great work. This will further extend our reach and introduce new people to this organization. And the next one will be the cash flow, which I've explained before, the fundraising strategy. This is very, very crucial and very, very essential. And then the use of social media effectively. Yes, we'll need to really, really blow out our presence. There will be a need for people to really know this organization and know what this organization stands for, and then what we intend to do. Then be transparent. Then thanking the donors, very essential. Perhaps we can also organize like some fun fairs, some youth counseling kind of programs, like some dinner nights or some kind of events that can attract investors, benefactors, charity donors, and all of that. Come up with a lot of things on what we do. Then of course we can also sell like some souvenirs, like to support our program and all of that. And then sometimes we could even go as far as the little monies we start getting, we can start doing something. You never get anything done until you start. You can start by going to the orphanage home, those that have like the higher kids. know what they are doing. If they are not going to school, we can start sponsoring like one or two, have them in our books, and then like that we keep increasing. And then we update our website to say, oh, in the past 2 3 years we've actually done this, we've done XYZ, clear things on what we've done, so that people in the past will be like, okay, yes, if we're writing a proposal and a grant for new funds, we can be like, okay, so the past 5 years, what have you been doing? Okay, we actually got loans for grants for so and this is what we've done, so, and then it's explicit. It's something that people can actually say that, oh yes, we actually heard that this foundation did this and that and that. So these are the kind of things we need to start working on. So by God being on our side, I strongly believe that all of this can be achieved. And I was asked to ask questions I have in mind or comment any interest. I wish to ask, what are the new goals for NGO vision and mission for the next 10 years to help me in my takeoff plan? I wish to also ask if the NGO has vision and mission work, or is it only restricted? Is it only for the youth in Abuja, or does it cut across other nations? I also need to ask what has been the successful goals achieved in the last 10 years, and then what actually led to the recent paucity of funds that hits this foundation, so that I'll know where to start revamping from. And so many other questions I asked. Does Young Foundation also support the city on the street, less privileged youth in the rehabilitation homes, mentally, psychologically deranged youth, drug addicts and minor crime associates, and orphanage youth empowerment by way of financial support, educational scholarships, sponsorship, skills acquisitions, and capitalism venture? Like, do we actually give youth? Some youths might actually want to start up a business of their own. They might have like great business ideas but don't have anybody to sponsor them. Some of them could be musicians on the street trying to sing one or two things, but they don't have anybody to push them ahead to their dreams. So we could actually do some of all these things we need to expand. We need to expand. There will be a need to expand the vision mission of this organization to be able to attract benefactors into what they intend to do. Then lastly, I wish to comment on the good initiative works of the youngster so far, but I strongly suggest for a great presence awareness, and that should be implemented through social media. Very, very key. Thank you. My name is Laura Ossai once again. I'm the admin officer, prospect at applicant. I have my number 08137278093, and my email address is lauranmt@yahoo.com. Thank you. Most of the other things I did not say is actually well written. I have like 8 pages well written script to attend to all the things that were asked. I took my time to write all of this technically, logically, and I hope this will lead me to the next stage of interview. Thank you.